Thanks for listening to this episode of Screen Facts with Jason Davis, your movie trivia and discussion podcast. Check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/screenfacts. Tweet me at Jason Davis Voice, and you can email screenfacts@yahoo.com. Please subscribe for free in the iTunes store to automatically get new episodes every Wednesday. Well, joining me on the podcast this week is my sensational wife, Sue.
Thanks, honey. Nice.
You like that?
I like it.
And we're going to discuss another movie that we enjoyed on a date night.
Yay!
Or date afternoon, maybe the case was. I don't know.
I don't remember.
Either way, it was a movie that turned out to be one of those great surprises that you go in hoping that it's going to be really good and fun, and it is. Mm-hmm. Released June 7th, 2013, The Internship.
Mm-hmm. Owen and Vince.
Yeah. Now, this is kind of an interesting thing because I'm a big fan of both of these guys.
Me too.
I love Wedding Crashers.
I liked it.
They were great together in that. You didn't care for it that much.
I like this one a lot better, actually.
Well, this kind of goes with, because you're not really into the two guys hooking up with all these women and all that kind of stuff.
Floozies.
But you know
the
what,
guys,
though?
that is.
The Wedding Crashers, not to get too far off track here, but The Wedding Crashers turns out to be a kind of a nice love story in the end. Oh, she's rolling her eyeballs.
Love story, schmuv story.
Yikes. But yeah, so these guys are really good together. Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn are the stars of the movie. And just really, really great chemistry together. Mm-hmm. They seem like they're really good friends in real life.
Yeah, they became good friends working on Wedding Crashers.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. They had been looking to reunite after that, but they wanted it to be original. You wanted it to be a movie that really made sense for them to work on together. Vince Vaughn actually came up with the idea for this movie, because remember those really cool credits at the end? Mm-hmm. It said story by him, screenplay by him and somebody else.
Vince Vaughn wrote the story, and the screenplay was written by Vince and Jared Stern.
Right.
And the movie's directed by Sean Levy, who, among other things, directed the Night at the Museum movies, Date Night, another funny movie with Tina Fey and Steve Carell. This Is Where I Leave You, a great ensemble movie, also with Tina Fey. Real Steel, which is a kind of Rocky with robots movie, which we loved.
Love that movie.
And he also directed an episode this season of one of our favorite shows.
Oh.
Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
How about that?
Yeah, so this guy, no
Cool,
stranger
yeah.
to great stuff.
Yeah.
This is one of those movies that I really think a lot of people missed out on. It didn't really do a ton of box office. The budget was like $58 million. It made about $44.6 million domestically. Worldwide, $93.4 million. So it didn't lose money worldwide. I just don't think a lot of people checked it out when it was out in the theaters.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it's a shame because it's a really fun movie. It's really well done.
Yeah, it really is.
It's funny. Mm-hmm. It's not just a silly movie. It's really a great story about teamwork.
Mm-hmm. Friendship.
Yeah. So
It even has a little love story in there for you, honey.
you mean Rose Byrne?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
like that little sideline there.
Sort of, a little bit, yeah. As I said, Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson star in the movie, but there's a lot of great supporting parts and supporting cast members in the movie as well. Rose Byrne, who's really, her career is on fire lately.
Yeah, 3 movies out at once, Rose? Really? Wow.
Yeah, she's real busy. It's pretty good for her, you know?
Yeah.
Daily Show alum Asif Manvi, who plays Chetty in the movie.
Oh, I love him.
So funny as the kind of head of the intern program.
I will not be having a cold one with you.
Josh Brenner, who plays Big Head on HBO Silicon Valley, which is a great show.
Yeah.
And he's really good in this movie. Dylan O'Brien, who's been in the Maze Runner movies.
Oh, that's right. And plus, wasn't he on the Teen Wolf show?
Yeah, he was on Teen Wolf as well. He's very funny as well.
Yeah.
Very sarcastic.
Never Stewie.
Tobit Raphael is Yo-Yo.
Oh, yeah.
And Tia Sarkar, who plays Neha Patel.
Yes.
Also great. The cast is just amazing in this movie. Very funny. They really have a great chemistry together. And then there's also some great cameos from Will Ferrell.
Yep.
Rob Riggle.
Right.
And Josh Gad.
Right. Now, the kids, when they were auditioning them, Sean Levy had them do a bunch of improv in addition to just reads, because he said basically you can't do an Owen Vince movie without expecting improv.
Oh, yeah.
So whenever it was possible, Owen Wilson would actually come in to the audition and read with them.
Okay.
And then Vince came in a bunch of times and they would just improvise. And some of what's in the movie is actually what came about in their auditions.
Oh, cool.
But could you imagine you're coming in, especially the kids maybe who they haven't really been on the boards that much. They're a little new, a little green, and like, oh, hi, here's Vince Vaughn here to improv with you.
Yeah. And those guys are really good at it, too. And the fact that Vince Vaughn wrote the script and the story probably really lends itself well to improvisation,
Yeah.
too.
Vince Vaughn came up with the idea for the film when he was watching a 60-minute special on Google.
Okay.
And he saw the work environment was just completely different from what he thought a work environment would be or should be.
Okay.
And he had wanted to work with Sean Levy again after working on him with The Watch.
Okay.
And, he wanted to work with Owen Wilson again and,
Okay.
do something. So he pitched the idea of the internship to Levy on the set of The Watch.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
once they got it together, and they all agreed to, this is a great idea, Vince Vaughn met with the people at Google to, build a relationship and start working with them and see, how they felt about this. They committed right away. They were like, yeah, this is great.
Okay.
You know.
That would have been a real bummer if they didn't, because
Yeah.
then his story is like out the window.
Yeah. He had done a lot of writing in the meantime.
Okay.
And then once he actually went into Google and saw a lot of how it is in there, he did a lot of rewriting.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Google allowed the film to shoot for 5 days at Googleplex headquarters, but most of the film was actually shot at the Georgia Institute of Technology in Atlanta. The set was built, obviously, to look exactly like Google. They did use 100 real Google employees as extras, which is very cool.
Very cool.
However, Jeremy Hoffman, a software engineer for Google, wrote an article saying that the portrayal of Google staff and practices were inaccurate, and that the company had little to no involvement other than lending the use of the brand.
I'm going to have to Google Jeremy Hoffman because all the interviews I read with different interns and also a woman who was the head of the intern process said they actually came really close.
Okay. I don't know why you would want to discredit this, because to me, when I'm watching this movie, I want to get a job at Google. I
Heck
mean,
yeah.
they make you look super cool.
Yeah. And a lot of it is really real. I mean, they have that slide.
Yeah.
They have the volleyball court. Right next to the volleyball court, they have an infinity pool.
Wow.
And it's all designed just as a way that, you can just relieve some stress during the day and then move on to your next stressful thing you're doing, I guess.
Yeah, and then they have the little cafe where all the food and drinks are free.
Yes. I love it when he goes and he's like, how much for that? Oh, it's free. Really?
And he's just,
And he's like, he ends up getting like 2 bananas.
yeah, and like 5 bagels, a bunch of
and
coffees.
Bunch of coffees.
Like the guy never eats.
Yeah. Some people say, have you heard of the freshman 15? When a kid goes away to college, they put on
Yes.
15 pounds. Well, there's an expression with the people who work at Google, the Google 15,
Oh, no.
for the same reason.
Well, free food, it's hard to pass that up, right?
And you can grab a snack at any time.
Yeah, and if you think about it, maybe there are a lot of young kids that are starting out at their first job. They probably don't have a lot of money,
right?
so
they
take
probably don't
advantage of
have
it.
a lot of food in the house.
Yeah.
But the rule about no bringing food home is true.
Well, that makes sense.
I didn't find out about, we're jumping all over the place, but in the
okay.
scene where they go for the personnel procedures training.
Yes.
And with the green paddles and the red paddles, dating a coworker. And everyone puts up red and they put up green.
Right.
No.
So we're saying no to love.
Say no to love.
This is Google, not Match.com.
And then it's bring home food from
Right.
the office and everybody puts up a red paddle and the two of them put up green paddles.
Right. And Vince Vaughn is like, what if it's going to go bad? If it's perishable,
It's
like chips and
out
salsa, it's out. And,
yeah. You want chips and salsa?
chips and pudding
And pudding?
Sushi?
And sushi?
and pizza.
Pizza?
And then they show him eating most of that stuff throughout the movie.
How does he lay on his back flat out, eat chips and salsa and not choke? That's skill.
He's a talented guy.
That is skill. I read an article and intern said that they learned of somebody who did get fired for bringing food home from work, but apparently the person had a trash bag and they filled it up with naked juices
Oh my God.
to bring home and they got caught and they were dismissed.
Well, yeah, you think? I mean, you think a guy that gets a job at Google is smart enough not to do something like that.
You'd
but...
think, because to get hired there, you're really top rung.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, this company is it's huge, and they're constantly evolving and coming up with new things. They're great.
They bring in, it's kind of like a rock star as janitor philosophy they have
Okay.
there, because everyone who comes in they're like Stanford grad, they're 4 point something or other GPA, they're like top,
Right.
and they're down there on the line and like, all right, you're a nuclear, go get to work.
Nuclear, I love that. So Google didn't actually pay to be a part of the movie. The company did have control over their products and how they were shown in the movie.
They did work hard to keep stuff pretty true to life, and they actually had one person in charge of making sure that like hundreds of monitors that we saw in the movie, were correct.
Okay.
So anytime you were looking at a monitor and it was a Google product, it was 100% correct.
It has to be, right? Because
Yeah.
they don't want to have anything looking crappy.
And you got to see like all their products.
Yeah.
Especially in the scene where they're doing the customer service test. Mm-hmm. And people are calling in with all sorts of problems.
Right.
Google Wallet, Google Maps,
Right.
Google this, Google that. And then at the end, when they're at the pizza place, all the kids have their laptops and
Yep.
they're each bringing up a different Google product so
Right.
they can kind of say, look, here's this, here's that.
Right. But, for whatever reason, you're not pissed off about all the product placement.
Well, no, yeah.
Because it makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that gratuitous. It just feels like it's part of the story.
Right.
So there's a funny scene in the movie where Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson's characters are interviewing with a couple of Google personnel via webcam in a public library. So while they're waiting, the 3 girls keep bugging them to get off the computer. Those were the director's children, Sean Levy's children.
Cute. Yeah. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, go get yourself a soda pop.
That whole scene is great.
And that's on Google Hangouts
Yes.
that they do the interview on,
Yep.
which Google has done at times.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know.
You would hope that they would use their own technology, right?
Yeah.
One of the things I like about Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson's characters is that even though they're really goofy, they're also very passionate about whatever they're doing. Like when they're preparing for the sales meeting in the beginning.
They're refreshing themselves as they walk in, so like, okay, then what's the daughter's name and how old is she and what's this and what's that? Okay, page 2.
Yeah. The funny thing about that scene, and I never really thought about it until we watched it again for this, is that there's a very similar scene in Wedding Crashers.
Oh.
Because their whole thing in Wedding Crashers is that they learn about the couple that they're going to crash.
Okay.
So if anybody asks any questions, they have an alibi while
okay.
they're there.
Interesting. So in Wedding Crashers, was there a Get Psyched mix or was
No.
that new for this?
That was new for this.
I love that.
Yeah, the Get Psyched mix. They're in the car driving to the sales meeting in the beginning, and they're playing the Get Psyched mix in the car, and Alanis Morissette, Ironic, is the song that's on. And Owen Wilson's like, what the shit is this?
It's like he thinks it's a mistake.
Vince Vaughn's like, listen, I got to throw you a curveball every now and then, or you're going to get bored.
Yeah.
And I dare you not to crush it on this chorus. But then they're singing along.
They're singing, and can Vince Vaughn really not sing, or was he?
I'm sure that was done.
I don't know,
but
it's so funny.
Yeah, it's really good. And then the car full of girls pulls up next
Yeah,
to
and
them.
they're laughing at him.
Yeah, it's great. It's really funny.
And then when they get after the meeting and they get back in the car, and it was a complete bust, and the song comes on, and,
Yeah.
and Vince Vaughn goes to turn it off, and Owen Wilson says, "Let it play,
For the love of God.
let it play."
It's really funny. I mean, if you've never seen this movie, I don't want to give away too much.
Yeah.
We're talking about some stuff, but nothing that's really going to ruin it for you.
Okay.
So
Okay. Well,
we might. You're throwing all your notes away?
not only 5 pages of them.
Yeah, theater of the mind. Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, and I should give my lovely wife credit. When I prepare for the podcast, I do a decent amount of research, but I don't dig as deep as you do. You tend to really dig deep for stuff.
Well, you know what? It's so easy.
Okay.
When you have Google.
Yeah, but it takes time to do that, and
Yeah.
I don't expect you to do that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
I mean,
you for
you know.
that. I'm telling you, it's really easy when you have a nice little smartphone. And you see me at night. I got my feet up, and I'm like,
Is that what you're doing?
yeah, I'm reading articles, and I'm copying and pasting into my notepad.
On your phone?
And, yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah, and then you just, go and print it out later. Super easy. I am like the queen of Google, actually. You search on one thing, and then you find something else, and you go, oh, what's that? So you click on that and search on that, and you're down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
know,
just,
and that's how I get with this. I'm like, oh, an interview with so-and-so? Okay, I'll read that too.
Yeah, I mean, admittedly, I'm a little lazy when it comes to digging deep on specific actors and things like that, but you like doing that.
I love
so
it.
I
I
appreciate
love doing
the
research.
effort, and so
Well,
a lot
I
of the stuff that you're
appreciate
hearing.
the great job you do in the production part of this
well,
podcast, because you're an
whatever.
awesome editor.
Okay, now that we've nauseated everybody listening by kissing each other's asses, let's move on with the movie.
Okay.
So, there's a lot of great cameos, as I mentioned. Will Ferrell has an uncredited cameo in this movie.
Oh, wow.
He also has a cameo in Wedding Crashers, too. And that's the thing with Will Ferrell that I really appreciate. When he's in movies like this where it's a quick thing, he's like brilliant in that little moment, you know? And he plays the manager of a bedding store. He's actually dating Owen Wilson's sister in the movie. And when Owen Wilson loses his sales job, his sister is like, just go, let Kevin give you a job,
Yeah,
whatever his
yeah.
name is. And he's such a yahoo. I mean, a total yahoo.
Horrible.
He's got a tattoo on his neck that says "Make reasonable choices." That's supposed to be Sanskrit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of a weird thing to have in Sanskrit on your neck.
Yeah, which is funny too, because Owen Wilson even says to his sister at another point, well, we spent last Thanksgiving discussing his tattoo.
Right, exactly. there's a bedding store not too far from our house. And every time we drive past it, we think of the scene.
Oh, I think of the Widowmaker corner.
Yeah. The guy.
I've lost three employees to skin cancer. We call that corner the Widowmaker.
Yeah, it's the guy twirling the arrow on the sidewalk.
And he's very good. I actually was really kind of watching him behind everything going on this time, and he's got some moves. Just really in that funny little sheep costume.
So, and there's also like some really cool nods to past projects in the movie too.
Yeah, you found those.
Yeah, some of the cast members were involved with other projects that are sort of referenced throughout the movie. For example, the X-Men franchise is mentioned a few times in the movie. Rose Byrne was also in 2011's X-Men First Class.
Yep.
There's a scene in the movie where Vince Vaughn's character is Google searching for a job, and he's wearing a Dwight Yoakam t-shirt. Dwight Yoakam was Vaughn's co-star in Four Christmases in 2008.
Love that movie. The intern, played by Tia Sarkar, is a big fan of Star Wars, particularly Star Wars cosplay.
Right.
They don't even know what that is. She's like, costume play? Huh?
Yeah, when she says to Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson that they'd be a great Han and Luke.
Yeah, and I'll be slave girl Leia.
With the collar around my neck. Not tight enough to choke me, but just tight enough to make it interesting. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's funny because she provided the voice of Sabine Wren on Star Wars Rebels.
There you go. And then during the interview in the library when Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson are given that hypothetical scenario when they're shrunken down to the size of a nickel, at Night at the Museum.
That's right. You pointed that out to me, and I said, oh, my gosh.
Yeah, Night at the Museum, Owen Wilson plays a miniature.
Yep. Yeah, supposedly Google, that's one of their things. During an interview, they will just throw out.
Yeah, they'll throw some goofy questions.
A really weird question. They've kind of become known as that. Now, one thing I did read, and I was on smartrecruiters.com. No reason. I'm not looking for a job. I love my job. They actually used this interview scene as a reference on how to interview.
Oh, wow.
There's 3 things that you can learn from this interview.
Okay.
May I share them
with
our listeners? Because you never know. You never know. These might come in handy.
This is even better than a screen fact. This is a life fact.
Holy moly. Number 1, dive right in. The questions that many candidates find a little bit odd often lead to pauses. But elite candidates do not get taken aback. They just jump right in. So in the movie, the interviewer asks, you are shrunken down to the size of nickels and dropped in the bottom of a blender. What would you do? They just jumped right in.
Yeah, they had a whole thing.
Well, first of all, is the blender on?
Right. Is there anything in the blender?
Is there anything in the blender?
Daiquiri.
Yeah, what are we talking about? They didn't go, So dive right in. Number 2, cite relevant experience. Whether you're determining what to do with your life as a nickel in a blender, or trying to guess how many golf balls can fit in a school bus, or whatever kind of weird question you get asked, life experience frames your googliness discussion.
Okay.
Okay? Because the interviewer said, well, once this blender on, it's forever. Owen Wilson said, oh, respectfully, I got to disagree. We sold blenders, even the best model in the world, even the German one, they're only going to run maybe 10 or 11 hours. So we're getting out, and when we do, we're better off for it because whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So you cite relevant experience.
Okay.
And then the last one, refine the conditions so you're talking about what you want to be talking about.
Okay.
Now, I never thought about that because I, in my life, have gone on many, many, many interviews, and you sit there going, I don't even want to be talking about this, but he asked, so I better answer.
Yeah, well, we've all been there, probably.
Yeah. And plus, also, with the abstract questions, the answers just don't exist.
Right.
So it's all opinion. So the interviewer will either let you guess or kind of flush it out for you. The website liked how they said, it's not so much getting out of the blender, it's what happens next. Okay. That's the question.
Okay.
And Wilson says, you got 2 nickel-sized men free in the world. Think of the possibilities. Vince Vaughn goes, on top of my head, and I'm just speculating, sunglass repair. Right. We'd be hell on those little screws. They didn't want to be in the blender in the conversation, so they got out.
There you go.
So there you go. Who would have thought that these are techniques you could really use in real life?
Who knew you could learn something from an Owen Wilson, Vince Vaughn movie, right?
My problem is I can't remember anything, so I would have to write them on my hand.
That would be good, like your Palm Pilot, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's a reference.
Yes, my Palm Pilot.
So one of my other favorite cameos in this movie is Josh Gad.
Yes.
They come across Josh Gad. He's got headphones on, and he's
all by
mashing
himself.
away on the keyboard, programming something, and they just sit down by him because their team are being a bunch of dicks. And it's kind of funny because, their team is made up of essentially nerds who have probably been ostracized everywhere they've gone.
Yeah, probably.
They go and do the same thing to Vince and Owen in the movie.
Yeah.
So they end up sitting down next to this guy, and he's just kind of in his own world, but they're not rude to him or anything. Later on, Vince Vaughn is trying to learn about the customer service stuff.
Yes.
To prepare for that challenge. He's really not doing well. And then all of a sudden, headphones guy starts talking to him and helping him. And he's very awkward. My favorite thing he says to him, Vince Vaughn goes, "You teaching me is like teaching a kid the alphabet, right?" And he goes, "Actually, it's like teaching you a letter. One letter."
A letter. Yep.
It's very funny, but he's really good.
Yeah. And then Rob Riggle being the the motorized scooter wheelchair salesman.
Hooking up with all the elderly women.
He is horrible.
He's always kind of that guy.
Oh,
and some people would
so
say
funny.
Some people would say that Vince Vaughn plays the same character all the time too.
Yeah.
That may or may not be true, but if he is playing the same guy, he's really good at that guy.
He's playing a funny guy at least.
It seems like he's the kind of guy that you would just love to hang out with, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You would want to have a cold one with him.
If I liked cold ones, yes.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, I would.
Well, it could be a cold one, could be anything.
Okay, I'll have a cold lemonade.
Yeah, there you go. He's so good and so likable. Owen Wilson too.
Yeah.
And the whole scene when he's out on the date with Rose Byrne.
Yes, and he has to fit 10 years of bad dates.
Right. He has
into
to
one
make
night.
up for exactly. And he
Very cute.
And he does pretty well.
He does it.
It's good stuff.
It's one thing after another, and then when he finally just pours that drink, I lose it every time.
Yeah, and actually when Owen Wilson is trying to get a date with Rose Byrne, he's chatting with her at the nap pods.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The director, Sean Levy, actually makes a cameo as an annoyed Google employee. He's like, "Oh, please."
Is this nap time or date time?
Right, or something like that, yeah. So you had mentioned to me before we started recording that they filmed 2 different versions of this movie at the same time.
They did scenes saying, let's keep it PG-13, and then they did the same scenes saying, let's go for an R rating. And then they figured they would just work it all out in the editing room. But you know what? I don't think there's anything wrong with watching a PG-13 movie and being able to like sit with the family and go, hey, isn't this a great movie?
Oh, absolutely. So I love all kinds of, sort of raunchy comedies and stuff. You've gotten more into that stuff with me, but it's not your first choice.
Yeah, a lot of it just isn't necessary, in my opinion.
A lot of things in life aren't necessary, but we have to deal with them, right? Don't get me started on that. But what I was going to say is that I really loved Wedding Crashers. I thought that was a really fun movie. I really enjoyed it. You, not as much. I was excited to see this movie because Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson working together again was good enough for me because they're so good in Wedding Crashers together. Was this a nice surprise for you?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I liked the fact that it had, like I said, like it does have that little love story there, and, him courting her and trying to get her to go out on a date. It's got, someone points out to Vince Vaughn that his character doesn't stick things out. And if you just leave him alone, he will fail.
Right, he'll fail on his own.
Yeah, so does that become a self-fulfilling prophecy? That's an interesting thing once that's planted in his mind. I love the theme of the friendship between them.
Yep.
Because they're so good together.
Yep.
And I love the fact that it's about second chances. And like it's like a second chapter in their life.
Right.
They've lost their jobs and they need something to do, and then they find, this internship that they could go for. So instead of just going, oh, boo-hoo, poor me,
right,
they take a step in a completely new direction.
Yeah. And the thing that's cool, too, is that their life experience is a great counterpart to these young kids who are constantly with their faces buried in their phones and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It would be like us kind of showing the ropes to a bunch of college kids at a new job situation.
Yeah.
And that's a nice dynamic to the story.
It is. It's funny because that's something when the kids are in, the classes are in session at Montclair State, my boss and I end up cracking ourselves up. He's only like maybe a year and a half older than me. And we're, old enough now at this point in our lives. And here come these kids who are like, 19, 20, maybe 21.
Right.
And we'll reference things and they just look at us like they have no idea. And we'll just look at them and go, "Oh, you're so young."
Right,
You're
and
so
that's
young.
and that's a running joke in this movie too.
Yeah,
and we're not going to say exactly what, but yeah,
especially because he keeps bringing up '80s references.
Right.
So anyone our age is going, "Oh yeah," and then you got these kids going, "Who's that?"
a lot of really funny fish out of water kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, that's always funny.
Yeah, that always works really well. So that's The Internship, 2013. Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson. If you missed it, check it out. It's a lot of fun. Well, thank you for joining me for another episode.
Thanks for having me.
I love it every time.
Me too.
It's always fun. And thank you for listening. We really appreciate it. And thank you for subscribing at iTunes and for checking out the Facebook page, facebook.com/screenfacts. And again, if you need to reach me, you can do it on Twitter at Jason Davis Voice or screenfacts@yahoo.com if you'd like to send in an email. If you enjoyed the show, by the way, the best way you can help us out is to spread the word. A little word of mouth wouldn't hurt us at all. We'd appreciate that. You can tell your friends about it. You can help us out by rating and commenting on iTunes. And if you really want to support the show and show your true love, buy some merchandise, please. Go to the podcast page at jasondavisvoice.com and you can order ScreenFacts merchandise there. Show theme music by audionautics.com. And thanks to wickedradionetwork.com and our announcer Kim from kimsvoice.com.
Screen Facts with Jason Davis is a production of Jason Davis VoiceOver. Visit jasondavisvoice.com if you need a voice for a commercial, narration, promo, internet video, e-learning or training program, and more. Click on the podcast page to get information about where you can download and listen to past episodes. Listen again next Wednesday for a new episode of Screen Facts with Jason Davis.